The story starts here, in the heart of the city.
We continue to follow the ongoing developments.
The student group is the first to take on such a project.
Everyone is waiting for a vote on the bill.
The team is winning at a record-breaking pace.
It's an issue for residents here and around Boston.
The story is coming up on Suffolk U News.
Hello and welcome to this edition of Suffolk U News, the weekly news program brought to you by the Department of Communication and Journalism at Suffolk University. I'm Katie Shambo from Merrimack, New Hampshire.
And I'm Dan McCarthy from New Milford, Connecticut. We're happy to be coming to you courtesy of your cable company and the internet. We begin on a serious note. Police are searching for the man who sexually assaulted a woman in the North End on Valentine's Day. According to investigators, the woman was walking to her home on Unity Street when the man pushed her inside the front door and assaulted her. The surveillance footage playing here shows the accused man walking, then running away from the scene. But before he ran, investigators say the man took a photo of the woman with his cell phone. Suffolk University student and North End resident Emily Damala is shocked that something like this could happen in her neighborhood.
I mean, it's frightening because you live in the North End, you think it's a safe area, and then you hear something like that happening and you just realize like something like that could happen to you.
Boston police are reminding residents to be aware of their surroundings, especially when walking at night.
While this year's snow accumulation isn't record-breaking yet, many would say the snow has been relentless. The string of snowstorms hitting the East Coast has put a strain on salt supplies in Massachusetts. Boston has already stacked up 21 more inches of snow compared to this time last year, and all that snow has Chelsea-based Eastern Minerals employees working overtime to keep up with the demand. While Boston and state officials say they have a sufficient salt supply, the state has exceeded its snow removal budget for the second consecutive winter, spending $70 million so far.
Although snow removal may be an expensive cost for the city of Boston, safe commutes are always a necessity, especially to university commuters.
Suffolk U News reporter Jessica Reyes reports on many challenges Suffolk University faces when Mother Nature takes control.
After months of being pounded with snow, this weather has a lot of us wishing for a clear day, whether that means going to class or not. However, out of the nearly 8,450 students that attend Suffolk University, 45% are commuter students who cannot walk or take the MBTA to campus. But before calling a snow day, John De Silva and 4 other administrators make sure that all methods of transportation are safe, even for those who commute from around the block.
But is it going to be a dangerous commute where people are sliding, you go to stop and people are hitting each other because of its icy conditions? That's what we look at. How dangerous do we think is it going to be getting into Boston, traveling to Boston, walking around Boston?
However, since makeup days are not worked into Suffolk's undergraduate curriculum, the recent snow days are proving problematic for some students.
I've been missing a lot of classes because of the snow days, and now I have a lot of work to do. So I think there should be a special makeup day class to get everything done.
While some students feel the need to make up the time, students who have a longer commute say that traveling in the snow would prevent them from even getting to class.
Honestly, if it just was snow and bad wind, I wouldn't even go because just walking from my apartment to the train station would just be too bad.
Calling snow days will always be tough, especially when dealing with New England weather. But sometimes it just comes down to a matter of predicting the future. Jessica Reyes, Suffolk U News.
The Suffolk University Calendar Committee is currently working on trying to fit official snow makeup days into the academic year.
A medical marijuana business is planning to open in Boston's Back Bay, and it's sparking controversy. A Denver-based company, Good Chemistry, provided false information to state regulators in its license application, incorrectly claiming to have support from state legislators. While the company is not mixing well with Boston city leaders, state health officials approved a license for Good Chemistry in Massachusetts. The company secured a lease for a dispensary at 364 to 368 Boylston Street. The last step before Good Chemistry can open its dispensary is an as-yet unscheduled appearance before the Zoning Board of Appeal. The Medal Mania continues at the Winter Olympic Games in Sochi.
More than 5,000 miles from Boston, but we have you covered.
And we continue that coverage now with Suffolk U News reporter Diana Novakovic, who's here to tell us about the weather and the medals. What's going on, Diana?
In Sochi, it's warming up in more than one ways. Something you cannot rely on during the Winter Games in Sochi is the medal count. It's constantly changing. As of our broadcast, the US and Russia hold on to lead at the Sochi Games with a total of 22 medals each. The US with 7 gold, the Russians with 6 gold medals. The Netherlands led the ranking last week and is now third with 20 medals total, 6 of them gold. But as the medal action is heating up, so is the weather in Sochi. The average temperature during these games is 45 degrees, the warmest Winter Olympics ever. However, temperatures have reached the 60s and a few days have been warmer than the summer Olympics in London 2 years ago. Sochi is located in the southwest region of Russia, and athletes have blamed the weather for poor conditions during competition. 430 snow machines have been installed in venues across Sochi. While the Olympics end later this week, our Olympic coverage will continue next week with a story that hits a little bit closer to home.
All eyes could be on Boston as the city prepares to bid for the 2024 Summer Olympic Games. But that's not all they're bidding for. I'm reporter Dan Lamparello, and we'll tell you that and more on the next edition of Suffolk U News.
Give us an update on what's been going on in Switzerland.
So far they have won 10 medals. So as we say in Swiss German, so hope Schweiz, we will see what's going on.
Well, we hope for the best. Thank you very much, Diana. The Olympic Games are ending soon, and everyone is waiting for the closing ceremony.
The American dream just got more expensive. If the immigration reform bills pass, prices for a citizenship application could go from $680 to more than $2,000. This rise has some Suffolk University students worried about their future goals. Suffolk U News reporter Carla Rojo tells us how some students are taking a more cost-effective route to their future dreams.
Suffolk University is home to more than 1,000 international students from more than 150 countries. Steve Viajay, a student from Germany graduating this May, hopes of getting into the optional practical training program after graduation. The OPT program is temporary employment that is directly related to a student's major area of study.
The main option is for everybody to get a job and to find a sponsorship.
Director of International Services at Suffolk University, Kathy Sparaco, thinks this can be a great thing for the U.S. to attract smart students into the country.
Countries around the world are looking always to attract the best and the brightest.
A sponsorship gets students one step closer to reaching their goals by having employers pay for their legal fees to receive legal status.
Based on employment, so you could be working for an employer and they can sponsor you for permanent residency based on certain categories.
Maintaining a good work ethic will keep you in the running to receiving a sponsorship.
Students like Stevie are hoping that the OPT program will help them on the road to citizenship.
Even though the price of citizenship is quadrupling in price, Stevie thinks this won't stop people from trying to achieve the American dream.
I'm pretty sure the demands will remain to stay high, because the U.S. is just such a great country for everyone.
Stevie hopes that once he is accepted into the optional practical training program, his job will help him with the immigration process and costs. Carla Rojo, Suffolk U News.
For many students, the cost of liberty is priceless, but they are hoping that if the immigration reform bills pass, it does not create major barriers.
Well, Boston is certainly a hockey-crazy town, so if you want to know about the thrill of skating and scoring, you can try it out for free. We'll tell you how in our Suffolk Scene Report that's coming up.
Also ahead, forget the skates, think swimsuits, or as they call it in the world of competitive beauty, lifestyle and fitness competition. We follow these bathing beauties all the way to the Miss Boston crown when Suffolk U News continues.
Welcome to contestant number 7, Molly Garrett.
If you drive buzzed, it could cost you around $10,000. You'll face major legal fees, major fines, and steep insurance penalties. You could lose everything. Buzzed, busted, and broke, because buzz driving is drunk driving.
From the hockey rinks to pageants, we have you covered.
Jess Nappy, our Suffolk U News reporter, is all over the place with the latest edition of Suffolk Scene. Jess?
Yes, I've been everywhere, but first let's catch up with Micah Rizzioni. As the Winter Olympics are coming to a close, I caught up with 1980 U.S. gold medalist Micah Rizzioni. From the Larson rink that bears his name in Winthrop, Rizzioni is starting to get more involved with youth hockey.
But we're going to do more things in this facility. We're going to turn it into a youth center. We're going to try to do a lot of events in the summertime, bring in other things other than hockey and skating. So I'm excited about what this can do for the community. It's another site for us to hold events for young boys, young girls, as well as other people in the town.
As part of an effort to hold more events, be sure to check out Larson Rink's Try Hockey for Free Day, Saturday, March 1st. One Brick Boston is a unique volunteer organization that balances work with play. This nonprofit provides opportunities to help others in a group setting, so you never volunteer alone. One Brick chapter director Melissa Ganley says it's really easy to get involved.
Our calendar is usually chock full of fun opportunities, and it's really easy to sign up. There's no commitment, there's no fees, there's no training, there's no any of those things. It's RSVP and show up and have fun.
Other than volunteering events, One Brick Boston offers social events every third Tuesday of the month. Trends may come and go, but vintage is always in. The South End is home to the SOA Vintage Marketplace. Every Sunday from 10 to 4 p.m. you can browse through 3 full rooms of vintage fashion, furniture, music, art, and trinkets galore, all brought to you just on Sundays. SOA Market offers free admission and $5 convenient parking, and the market is open year-round. And from vintage to glamour, Boston just got its new misses. 18 contestants fought aria to jazz shuffle for the crown. All of the ladies were lovely, but only one could take the Miss Boston title. It's the sound of applause as friends, family, and future little misses cheer on the competition for Miss Boston 2014. Contestants go through a rigorous process of interviews, swimsuit, talent, and evening wear competition. Morgan Berg, Miss Boston 2013, shares her excitement for the next title winner.
I'm so excited for the next girl to have this opportunity. It's just been the greatest experience of my life. So it's a little sad that this chapter's closing, but for the next girl, she's in for the ride of her life.
And that ride starts with confidence. Suffolk University's own Caitlin Peters competed for the first time ever, but didn't take the crown. But this isn't the last you'll see of her. When asked if she'll compete again, she said,
"Yes, I will. Eventually I will, yes."
The ladies held hands as the winners of both Miss Cambridge and Miss Boston were announced. Here she comes. It's Miss Boston 2014.
Megan Fuller!
Fuller will now be competing in Miss Massachusetts for the second time.
I had the chance to go to Miss Massachusetts last year, so to have the chance again, no words can describe that. This is a great year, and I'm looking forward to an amazing year.
Congrats to both Fuller and the new Miss Cambridge 2014, Michelle Nigro, who will both be competing in Miss Massachusetts 2014 this June. So Dan, we were both at the pageant and it was a lot of fun, but I understand you had a little bit of a different perspective on it?
When you're a sports fan like me, sometimes you have to find a different angle, but thank you, Jess.
Welcome.
For the women that walk the walk, talk the talk, and now wear the crown, it's a time of celebration. But is victory in a beauty pageant ballroom anything like a win on the baseball diamond or basketball court? Finding the sport in pageantry is an event of its own, and the women of the Miss Boston pageant were happy to lend a hand.
The thrill of victory and the agony of defeat.
The wide world of sports is often reserved for jerseys and jockstraps. But what about stilettos and swimsuits? Beauty pageant contestants perform in front of large audiences, screaming fans, and hey, they even know how to showboat. So is it a sport? No, says Suffolk University student Caitlin Peters. She favors camaraderie over competition.
We were like a big family. It's weird to say. I didn't really feel that I needed to really outdo anybody.
But beauty pageant personal trainer Jeff Butterworth isn't buying that for a second.
Anything you get into like this, where the stakes are so high and you spend so much time preparing, it doesn't matter how lightly you might take it, it's very competitive.
It's a debate fit for royalty, so Megan Fuller provided the verdict in her first interview as Miss Boston 2014.
Athleticism is a huge part of a pageant competition, but we take it one step further and provide academics as part of your score, your interview.
In the Miss Boston pageant, interviews and onstage questions make up 30% of the judges' total score, so let's see Bill Belichick do that.
That does it for this edition of Suffolk U News, the weekly news program brought to you by the Department of Communication and Journalism at Suffolk University.
And I'm
Katie Shambo.
And I'm Dan McCarthy. Thank you for watching us here on the Boston Neighborhood Network or on the internet.
Be sure to continue to watch for Suffolk U News, bringing you more from the school with the heart.
In the heart of the city. Goodbye.